Welcome to
Welcome to the Humor Me
Podcast.
podcast. I'm Lizzie,
And I'm Emily.
and we are just great friends. And today we're going to talk a little bit about us.
Yes.
I'm Lizzie. I'm in high school currently, and I'd say for my personality, I'm kind of fun, a little quirky. I am definitely spontaneous. Like, I'm not a big planner. Plans stress me out. And so I like just being spontaneous and do last minute things. And I am late to almost everything. And I honestly, it doesn't even stress me out being late to things. Like, yeah, if it's school, it stresses me out. But like, if I'm late to things, I'm like, well, I'm already late. So that means I don't have to get there by a certain time, if that makes sense, you know? And another big part of my personality, I'm also outgoing. Another big part of my personality is that I'm very opinionated. And all my friends know that I'm pretty much passionate about every topic. I have an opinion on everything. And yeah, so I am a Latina. My family is Mexican on my mom's side, and I'm also a little bit of Italian, and I don't look Latina, but I am. For food, I love like pretty much everything. I'm not a huge seafood person, but I do like salmon. I love rice. I feel like I eat rice like every day. Um, I also love like mashed potatoes. I like just plain sushi. Um, my favorite dish, oh, I also love spaghetti. My favorite dish though is chicken tikka masala because it is just amazing. It's Indian cuisine. And I love Chipotle. My dad is obsessed with Chipotle. Like, he goes there almost every day of the week. And I used to not be a fan of it, but now I found what I like. And so I really like it. I eat it almost every day as well. And I also like Mod Market a lot. They have such a good salmon curry bowl. It is amazing. Um, People I look up to are Paul Pogba, who is actually my favorite soccer player. And he plays for Manchester United currently, and that's my favorite soccer team. I love watching soccer. I used to play soccer, as a matter of fact. I like watching the EPL and um, like things beyond the US soccer. I like watching Champions League. Another person I look up to is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Um, I was very sad when she passed, but yeah, she has inspired me and kind of like she's like inspired my passion for civil rights and equality, and I love how much she's done for women's equality and women's rights. Related to that, when I grow up, I'd love to become a civil rights attorney, especially because I'm very opinionated and I like to argue, but I could also be arguing for something that's like a good cause and for people to get justice. Uh, for movies and music, I like watching rom-coms and action movies. Um, for music, I love Taylor Swift. So yeah, I love Taylor Swift. I love her songs. I love her lyrics. I also love Luke Combs. He's just an amazing songwriter as well and country singer. I like anything from pop to hip hop to country to alternative because that's what Taylor's become. Um, I also like people who write their own songs because I feel like they're more passionate about the music than. Um, for sports I used to play soccer, like I said. I'm also a cross country runner, which I stopped playing soccer because I want to start focusing on running more. I love running cross country. It's kind of a love-hate relationship with running, but I'll go into that later. Um, I'm about to run track for the first time as well. Um, for my favorite movies, I love A Walk to Remember. It's such a good movie. I love 80s movies and just like 80s music. 80s vibe in general is pretty dope. The Hate You Give is a wonderful movie about racial equality. So is Safety. I love that movie. It's on Disney Plus. I like real life stories and like ones that like are inspirational and stuff. I also love Legally Blonde. That was like the aha moment for me. What like when I saw Elle Woods at the end of the movie making her argument and trial and just blowing away the court audience and just having an argument to the point where there's no argument against it. I feel like that's one of the most satisfying things. For TV shows, I love Outer Banks. I'm not really a TV person because I don't have the attention span or the patience to sit through TV shows, so I'm more of like a movie person. But um, like I can't last full seasons of TV shows. I usually skip. But one season I did not skip is Outer Banks on Netflix. I love that show. I am so excited for season 2, and I am definitely team JJ. And I also love watching Below Deck and other shows on Bravo, even though they're kind of made fun of. I like Bravo. And
too,
I know
Lizzie.
Emmy loves Below Deck. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So now you can hear Emmy.
Yes, hi, I'm Emily, and a little bit about me is I am German, and yeah, pretty much anything in Europe I am. And then some of my favorite food is mac and cheese. Some of my favorite restaurants are Panda Express. Even though that is not a restaurant, I still think it is amazing, although some people would probably say it's not. I also love Sweet Tomatoes, which is, they're not everywhere, and especially now since they're closed, but they used to be my favorite thing, and I would always go there for birthdays, and it was literally my favorite restaurant ever, and it was basically, it was a buffet, but I thought it was awesome because they had the best noodles ever. I also love Nectar. It's a place in Huntington Beach, California, and they serve really good like smoothies, and they're just so good. I highly recommend it if you're ever in that area of California. A little bit kind of opposite to Lizzie, I am really early to everything, and it really stresses me out if I am late just because I hate getting in trouble, and often sometimes when you are late you get in trouble, and I just would rather skip that altogether. So I like to be early to everything, even like 15 minutes.
Emmy is
good.
definitely a real follower.
Yes, I am definitely.
I wouldn't say I'm a real breaker, but Emmy is a real follower compared to me.
Yes, definitely. I would also say I'm pretty funny, I would like to think. And thank you. My friends think the same thing ish, I guess, sometimes. Sometimes my jokes like aren't not very good. I think they're funny, but then they don't come out funny. It's usually when I'm not trying is when they're the best. I'm also pretty much go with the flow personality. My favorite movie genres are definitely comedies. They are probably my favorite genre of all time. But I also enjoy a good thriller every once in a while. And to go along with that, some of my favorite actresses and actors are definitely Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston are my number one. They've been my favorite since I was born. I'm pretty sure they've been my favorite. I love their duo together. Just go with it. Amazing movie. But I also love like Zac Efron, Jonah Hill, Adam Devine, Dave Franco, Chris Pratt, Seth Rogen, Jennifer Lawrence, all of them. If they're in like a comedy movie or they just have some comedic aspect to them, I probably love them. And some of my favorite movies are definitely Just Go With It, and I think a lot of people could probably say they didn't like that movie, but I love it, and I think it should have won some gigantic award because that's how good it is. And I really liked Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. It's also a great movie. It's really hilarious. The Way Back is also a great movie. It's more of like a coming of age movie, and it's really good. I also love Baywatch, the movie. Thought it was great. I also, like Lizzie, love Legally Blonde. Thought it was really, really good. And I just saw it actually for like the first time like a month ago. But highly recommend it. Yeah, see? It's good, isn't it? And then my favorite TV shows I would say are Grey's Anatomy, The Office, Euphoria, Below Deck, Of course, it's so great. If anyone doesn't watch it, like, okay, even if like you aren't a huge fan of like Bravo shows, watch it. Like, there's so
It's
much
very good.
it's so good. Like, highly, highly, highly recommend it. Be in the future is I want to be a major motion picture or television producer because movies and TV shows really interest me, and I think it'd be really cool to just learn more about the behind the scenes of that and just see what really goes into like making a movie. And let's see what else. I played volleyball. I used to play soccer with Lizzie for like 8 years ish. And then I moved into volleyball because I realized I hated running. And you think I would have learned that within the 8 years that I've played. But I'm pretty sure I stuck in it just because my friends were staying in it. And then finally I was like, I can't do this anymore. Once it was getting to the more competitive level, I decided to move to volleyball, and I've loved it ever since. Some of my favorite sports to watch, I would say, are definitely probably baseball and hockey. Although, like, I know baseball can get a lot of hate because it's boring, but I actually think it's really interesting. See? But I think it's really interesting, and I really like and enjoy to watch it, especially like on TV. It's not as good just because it does feel like it's going a lot slower, but in person, going to a game, and even on TV is pretty fun to watch, I think. And I think that's a little bit about me, I guess.
Yeah. You could definitely see a little bit about like when we told you about us how we're opposites. For sports, I like to watch. I obviously said soccer. I like watching like X Games, like not
Yeah, that's
skating,
pretty
but
cool.
snowboarding and skiing are very entertaining to watch. Like once I watched this freestyle skiing competition where like they go off the roofs of buildings. Those are so entertaining. I forgot to say how I love skiing.
Oh,
I am
yes.
obsessed with it, and yeah, it's definitely a winter sport of mine. Uh, I could never do freestyle skiing, but yeah, I'm getting better, and I enjoy it so much. Oh yeah, basketball. I love to watch basketball. I'm not a fan of football, American football
Me
whatsoever.
either.
Yeah, no, it's a no for me.
I just don't
Um,
understand it.
I mean, college football's okay, but NFL is a big no. Both of our dads are, well, my dad is the craziest, but they're both obsessed with fantasy football. So that might be
Yes,
where our hatred of football stems because they
probably.
devote all their time to it. Uh, but what's another sport I like to watch? Um,
I'm trying to look around in the office. See ooh, I don't like golf. I will say that.
oh yeah,
I
golf. My
think
dad watches golf, and it's not.
me too. And I honestly, like, if you're a fan of golf, I'm sorry. I think it's boring to watch. It's fun to drive the golf cart, but
It
it's a
is fun to
very
drive.
slow paced sport, I will say.
Yeah, that's the only reason I go golfing with my dad is to drive the golf cart.
Me
Um,
too.
yeah, I'm not a fan of hockey like Emmy. I'm not a fan. But I like watching volleyball and tennis. They're
Yeah,
entertaining actually.
those are fun.
Um,
Okay. So, now we're going to be talking about a little bit of how we met. Now, I would say we definitely have two different perspectives on this story.
we do.
Yes. So, if Lizzie, if you want to go first and share your perspective.
Alrighty, so we have known each other for
11
11
years.
years. Yeah, which is a long time considering that's a long time for a friendship. And so that means we've known each other since like around kindergarten time. And we met on the first day of kindergarten. And it's the craziest story because I remember this girl, like on the first day of kindergarten, like they have you say bye to your parents, it's all sad and stuff, but like you line up in a line before you go into the building. And I remember my backpack was like taller than me, bigger than me. And yeah, I remember this girl in the line cutting me. And I'm like, don't you know the rules of kindergarten? You can't cut. That is a no-no in elementary school. And I was like, oh, this girl's kind of like a bully. She cut me. And I was like, she's mean. And then little did I know she would become my best friend. But yeah, there's more to the story. Abby wants to share.
Okay, well, my story is a little more tame, maybe. But I would say something that you should know about me is that I'm definitely, I would say, kind of oblivious when it comes to some things. Like some things I'm very aware, but then other things like relating to people, I'm kind of oblivious. So we were in kindergarten, like Lizzie said, lining up, same exact outfits, except we had different shoes. I was wearing like pink shoes, and then Lizzie, I think, was wearing like white shoes. And I remember just walking in the line, just standing next to this girl. And then that's really all I remember. I don't remember anything else happening. Obviously, I was oblivious to cutting someone. See how, I guess that one little line cut made everything happen. Or like, what if we didn't wear like the same exact outfit? Like, would we have been friends?
Yeah, I know. It is a crazy story. Like I don't even remember you specifically. I just remember someone cut me in line. I think I went home and like told my mom about it, and that's how she remembered it was you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even remember wearing the same outfit either. But our parents have pictures of it, and we'll insert it right
somewhere.
here somewhere. And it is the cutest picture, and I will cherish it forever. And it's just insane to think about how we had the exact same outfit on, because like the odds of that happening. And I remember it's from Gymboree, I think.
Yep.
That was like a popular place to shop when you're in like kindergarten. But yeah, so
I know.
that's
crazy.
insane. Yeah, so we've been friends for such a long time, and it's just crazy to see how we've grown up together. And even though we're like complete opposites, we've always been known as kind of like the duo in school, like the friendship that hasn't broken. But we will get to that later, because there's some tea around that.
There is.
But yeah, we're always known as like the duo. Like everyone knew us as the friends who've always been friends. It's just crazy to think of how it all started.
Yeah, and I remember like there was always like some groups, like in elementary school that I can remember. I would say there was like maybe 3 or 4 really strong groups of friends, and then those 4 groups to middle school were like 2 groups. Mm-hmm. And then like now in high school, I feel like it's really just only us that have stayed together.
Yeah.
Between all those groups.
Yeah, and you'll hear about someone who was a very important part of our friendship later.
Yes.
But yeah, so let's get to sharing some of the tea. Yes. And some of the bumps in our friendship.
Yes. So should we start with Groundies, the one that almost broke us?
Yeah, Groundies was...
That was the rough one.
That was the epitome of it all.
So I guess I'll explain how the game Groundies works, and then you can kind of go into it.
Okay.
So Groundies is basically a game. It's played on a playground. And when you're on, like, not the floor, but when you're on the ground, you can open your eyes and see where everyone is on the playground. But when you go on the playground, like the person that's you have to close your eyes, and you have to try to tag people that are on the playground. And if you hear like footsteps of people walking on the ground, then you say Groundies. Well, a lot of us would cheat at the game. And a lot of us would open our eyes when we're on the playground to make it easier, and partially so you don't die and like fall off like a little cliff of the playground. But yeah, so that's kind of where it stems from a little bit. So I guess you'll hear the major story.
Yeah, so it's so funny. Like, it's not even like that big of a deal, but it's just funny how it like came from a playground. But yeah, so Emmy talked about how like you have to keep your eyes closed on the playground, and I'm an honorable person. Maybe I am. I probably wasn't back then, but I am now. I'd like to think I am now. But I don't remember like ever purposely like opening my eyes a lot. Like I probably did a few times and cheated, but like I didn't do it a lot because I wanted to abide by the rules of the game. But yeah, so I was upset because I lost all the time. Like I was losing every game. And I was always it, and I was sick and tired of it. I was like, guys, I don't want to play Oak. So there's another group. This is where the other person comes in. So me and Emmy have always been the duo, but we also have another person in our friend group who made us kind of like a trio that's been together since kindergarten. Her name is Lauren. We'll probably get her on in another podcast sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so it's crazy because I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to play anymore. I'm done being it all the time. I was kind of overreacting. I was dramatic back then. And Lauren and Emmy did not want to stop playing. And I was like, I'm going to find different friends then.
Yeah.
I remember turning it into something way more than it was. Like, I don't even really know. I turned it into something it wasn't. But that's just elementary girl stuff.
Yeah.
So
because
it was a big
You kind of became friends with like the horse girls.
Yeah, I did. but they were I like
No, they were super nice.
But yeah, it was just funny. And then there's another story on the playground as well. If anyone wants to talk about it.
There's also kind of another game that had a lot of issues. And it was tag. But the catch was we were actually me and Lauren were quite mean as like first graders. And what we would do was me and Lauren would kind of like conspire before recess, and we would be like, okay, today we're going to play tag, but Lizzie's not going to know we're playing tag. So once like recess would begin, me and Lauren would just start running away from Lizzie. And then Lizzie would get super mad, and she'd be like, why are you running away from me? And me and Lauren would just be like, oh, we were playing tag. And you were it. So it was very rude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I remember like talking to like the lunch para about it, but it was just like you just did stuff like that in elementary school. Everyone did, but it was so funny to think about. It's just so funny. And I barely remember it, but I do remember like being like, what? I didn't know we were playing tag, but it's just a funny story. What's another story? Oh, this is a good one. It is the story about the volcano project.
Yes.
So, in third grade, I think, me and Emmy thought, I feel like we were watching a bunch of like DIY YouTube videos and got inspired,
Probably
you know.
Bethany Moda.
Yeah. And we just thought we should build a volcano right here and right now. So we made our own homemade volcano on Emmy's back porch. And
insert picture.
Yeah, insert pictures somewhere. And we thought we were going in the Hall of Fame for this volcano project. We had it all like mapped out. We were gonna email our teachers about it. Well, not email. I feel like we never used it back then. We were gonna talk to our teachers about it, get a whole like conference. We were gonna teach the class about this tinfoil and shaving cream volcano that we made, because this was the real deal. And so we never did we even ever tell our teachers about it? We probably did, and they probably just like brushed it off and we're like, yeah, we'll do it.
We might have told, I don't know.
But we were so excited about it.
If we could find the paper that we wrote to go with it.
I think I have the notebook.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. But it's at your house, so it's probably in one of yours. I don't know. But it was so funny. It was so funny. And we were so excited. We were like, we're going to tell the whole class about this volcano we made. Like, call us Einstein. We are scientists now.
And I'd like to, like, emphasize, it wasn't even good. Like, I don't even think it even, like, bubbled like a volcano did.
No,
like,
I don't think it
might have, like, just did a little fizz, but it didn't go, like, out of the volcano like it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Me and Emmy tend to get excited about things that other people wouldn't get excited about. Like the smallest things we get excited about. Like we make a plan and we're like, this thing's going to be awesome. And we just get all jittery. And
like this podcast.
Like this podcast. Yeah. And so yeah, that's another funny story. You should tell them about the time when you decided to use the rope bridge at our playground.
Yes. Okay. So probably around maybe third or fourth grade, maybe around the same time ish. Me and Lauren and Lizzie was also there too. We decided there was like this. So our playground was kind of broken into two sections. It was like one section right here, one section right here, and then there was a gigantic rope bridge, like connecting the two of them. And I would like to say like it was not like close to the ground, like it wasn't like a foot. I think it was probably like more like I don't know 6 feet. I could be wrong, but it was quite high, especially for us being that young. So one of our favorite pastimes was we would like do tricks on them, and we would like do flips off them, backflips. Not like you're probably imagining something way cooler than it actually was, but just like kind of like somersaults. I don't even. That's a terrible way of explaining it.
Yeah, you'd like flip over the rope and like hang upside down like a monkey.
Yeah. There you go. And one day,
I was too scared to do
that. Usually the like stunt we would usually do where we would just flip backwards, but our legs would still kind of be connected to the rope. We would usually just do it like one person on one side and the other person on the other. But this day we decided to go two people on the same side. And we didn't, at our age, we didn't really understand like the physics behind it. I don't even know if that's the correct science term, but we didn't understand that that wasn't going to work. So with both of us on it, the rope got extremely tight, making it very difficult to get back up. So like usually if like when we were backwards, we would just get back up really easily. Like there's no struggle. But since both of us were on the same side, we couldn't get up at all. And our legs were trapped between the ropes. So the rope was also getting tighter, and it was like almost cutting off our circulation. Like you could see it after. And it was so awful because we couldn't get up. And I know Lizzie and our other friend were trying to help us. And it was so hard to help us because there's not much they could have done because it was kind of just our faults.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was scary, but it was hilarious. Like for a second I was thinking like, are we gonna have to call the ambulance or not the ambulance, like the fire department? But yeah, it was so funny because I don't know if you said this, but like the bridge was like 6 feet above the ground. So it's not like I couldn't get on the bridge to help you get out because it was like, it was complicated. Like, yeah, insert picture of the bridge.
Yeah,
somewhere. And it was so funny because I wasn't tall, I'm short. I couldn't reach, especially back then, I couldn't reach their legs from the bridge, but it was so funny because they were laughing, but also like crying. It was one of those kind of moments. And I could just see like yours and Lauren's legs getting redder and redder and shaking.
Yes.
Or actually they were probably turning white and like your face was turning red or something because you're upside down. But it was so bad.
It was awful. And I just like, another thing was like the whistle, like they blew the whistle right when we were kind of like stuck. So like we couldn't really just be like, and okay, at that time, like at least for me, actually no, I think it might have been Lauren because I think I was the one that was like, go get the teacher, go get the teacher, go get the teacher. And I'm pretty sure Lauren was the one that was like, no, we got this, we can do it.
Probably.
And eventually, like probably maybe 30 seconds, I don't know, after the whistle blew, Lauren thankfully was able to get herself up because she's a lot stronger than me. So she was able to get herself up, and then because she was up, then I got myself up quite easily. And I just remember it was so stressful. I was thinking the same thing that Lizzie was thinking, like, are we gonna get in trouble? Is the principal gonna have to come down? And like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. I don't know if we already said this, but Emmy is definitely more of like a rule follower than I am. I'm not like trying to break the rules, but she's like, if you have rules, you best believe she's gonna follow them because she will. And another thing kind of related to this, it's kind of changing topics, but I remember growing up, like Emmy had a trampoline in her backyard,
Oh yeah, I think
and
I know where you're going with this.
um, Emmy, I'm not a flexible person, and she was obsessed with gymnastics at one point,
Oh.
and like got a gymnastics mat in like a bar and all this stuff. And she's like, "Let me teach you how to do a cartwheel today." And I'm like, "It's a lost cause. You're not gonna help me." And she'd be like, "No, we gotta do gymnastics." I'm like, "No, I can't." It was just so funny because I was so horribly awful at it, and she is so good at it. I was just like jumping up and down, and she was doing flips on the trampoline.
That's like kind of like going in, like that's kind of like another thing that about me is I'm quite stubborn.
Another thing that just reminded me of something. I don't know if you could hear my dog barking, but me and Emmy both have dogs. We
We
love
do.
dogs.
You
I have two
probably saw
dogs.
one earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have two dogs. Their names are Rose and Claire, and they are mini Labradoodles. And I think they are absolutely adorable. I love
Yes.
them.
They're so cute.
And Emmy can't tell them apart most of the time.
I
It's
can't.
funny because she's known them ever
I
since I've
know.
had them.
I've known them for many, many years and I still can't really tell them apart.
Like one of the funniest
She
things.
tells me them every time. Like what
Yeah.
I can tell them apart. I still I don't know.
Yeah, like what one of the funniest things about it is they were so my dogs, we got them from a breeder. I want to rescue. Emmy's good. She rescues dogs. I want to rescue dogs. I am like a humanitarian. I want to do that. But we didn't do that. I'm sorry. Anyways,
Don't come for
we
us.
got we got breeded dogs. I did. And they're my dogs are related. So like and not only are they related, they are also born on the same day, but they're not brother and sister. So that's like a riddle. But I'll explain it. So my dog was obviously born like from this breeder we got her from. And like few years later, like 5 years later, I think Rose is 5 when we got Claire. We got Claire and we talked to the breeder, and I think Rose is Claire's great aunt. So Rose's like brother or sister is the grandma of Claire. And I think that's so adorable. And another crazy coincidence is that Rose and Claire are both born on November 24th. So sometimes I'm pretty sure sometimes it's Thanksgiving. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. I don't yeah. My dogs are named Penny and Molly. And Molly is an Australian Shepherd mix, and Penny is she's a Rottweiler, um, Pit Bull, Husky, Strash or whatever Shire
Everything.
mix. Basically, all the dangerous dogs mixed together,
She scares me.
which terrifies my dad because he's terrified of like the meaner dogs, I guess. So when we got her DNA results back, he was kind of scared. But she's really sweet and she's like the sweetest little dog.
She
But
is.
and fun fact, we actually named her Penny because my family, especially my mom, is really obsessed with the Big Bang Theory. So we named her after Kaylee Kuoku. I don't know how you say her last name. But her character and her character's name is Penny in the show.
Yeah. Fun fact about Emmy's dogs. They are both bigger and stronger than me, and it's not that they're bad dogs, it's just that they're crazy.
Yes,
And they can knock me over in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they could
They're
totally.
they're just ginormous. But yeah, they're adorable. And they're like sweethearts at the same time. So I
And
love them.
I feel like well, not necessarily for Molly, but I feel like for almost all the dogs we've had, or at least all the dogs that I've named, they've been named after TV shows. Like Daisy was named after. Do you remember the show Wow Wow Whoopsie?
Yes.
Daisy was named after one of the characters. I think it was like Whoopsie's like best friend or something.
I remember that show. Yeah, my dogs, don't take offense to this if your names are Rose and Claire. But my dogs, my family always jokes about how they are like old lady names, like Golden Girls.
Oh,
But yeah, one thing I literally just saw, like I just saw my brother pull up, and I completely forgot to say that I have a brother.
oh
So I
yeah.
forgot about that.
I have no
fact.
siblings. I'm an only child.
Solamente.
Mm.
I couldn't see Emmy as anything else though. But yeah, so we should we tell them what's another story?
We have so many. Oh, that we have the Justin Bieber story about the first time we just met.
Yeah.
So probably in like kindergarten, the first like play date we had was going to see the Justin Bieber documentary. And I don't think Lizzie remembers this one as much as I do. But one thing that I was a misconception that I had was in the trailer of the Justin Bieber documentary, he pops out of the theater and like surprises the people watching his movie. I thought that was gonna happen to our theater. Like I thought that just like he was just everywhere at all theaters. I thought he would just pop out. So the whole movie, I was scared that he was gonna pop out. And I think I was the only one that thought that. I think Lizzie was smart enough to know that that was not going to happen.
I don't even remember the trailer for it, but I do remember going there. And I thought it was awesome. Like I thought the movie was great.
No,
I
right?
was having the time of my life. I feel like there was more than just us there.
Yeah, your mom and my mom were there. It was the first time I believe they
I feel like there's another
really
friend.
hung out.
Probably. Yeah, but yeah. Sorry. But so for the Justin Bieber concert, it was like empty in the theater, but
Yeah.
I have no memory of the like I didn't know that was the first time me and Emmy hung out. But yeah, I have no memory of him popping out. So
Yeah, well, yeah, it would make sense you didn't have a memory of him popping out because he didn't.
So yeah, guys, one of the funniest stories I remember from elementary school was the Capitol story when me and Emmy and our whole school went to the Capitol, and it was so funny because I remember like we were the only class that got to go out on like the dome because we had like a special connection. So we got to go out on the dome outside of like the top of the Capitol and like the balcony of the dome, and it's like a circle. So for some reason we were running and it was freezing outside. There was ice on the ground, and we were being very smart. But yeah, we were running in circles around it, and I just remember we were like in a line. There's like 3 of us running around it. Emmy was first, and I just like remember laughing so hard because she like fell, but and like it was one of those ice falls where you slip back and you're like, oh, and like your head kind of goes back and your feet go forward. But she didn't like fall; she caught herself. So I was laughing my head off, right? And then I got karma because I fell, and I fell a little more, but I saved myself. And the girl who was behind me fell all the way on her butt, and it was just so funny.
And it was funny just because like you think once they would have saw me like kind of like slip a little bit, you think that they would have been like, "Oh, let's slow down so we don't slip." But no, that's not how elementary schoolers think. We're going to go harder on this and we're just going to do it 10 times like faster. And
yeah, I full sended it.
Luckily no one like got in, but it was really funny. Like at the time I think it was probably one of my like favorite like elementary school moments.
Yeah, I feel like I've forgotten so much from elementary school and middle school. But
Right.
yeah,
Like
and
I
then
feel
high school has been crazy.
like middle school I don't feel like anything really like happened like big in there. It was kind of just like there.
Yeah, another thing is like we barely had any classes together in middle school.
We really just had like PE together, and that's really not even a class because you're in like what are they called? Like you're in different groups.
Course?
Like in PE though. Like how there was a dance group, and then there was a volleyball group, and then there was a soccer group.
Yeah.
Even though we were in
Yeah.
like the same PE class, you were usually in different groups, which kind of stunk because we usually we didn't get to hang out with each other, even though we were in the same class. unless we got really lucky and we were in the same like group.
Yeah, that was one of the main parts. Like that was like another reason why we didn't have that many memories in school, especially for middle school. But yeah.
Yeah, so for high school, really nothing. I mean, obviously, we really didn't even have a real freshman year because we were only in it for about really up till March. And then that's obviously when things went crazy. So, I mean, really the only normal things we got to experience were obviously homecoming, and we went to some football games, but really nothing ever like major happened at those that's like worth sharing, I guess. Should we talk about our future like plans for this podcast?
Yeah, so we have some exciting things coming. Emmy, you want to talk to them about like the socials?
Yes. So, I actually just made an Instagram account like an hour ago, and it is called the Humor Me Podcast, and I'll put it like right under here or somewhere on the screen. And I also made a Gmail, so if you want to email us about any like inquiries you have,
Business inquiries
yes,
only.
exactly. That is also the Humor Me Podcast at Gmail. So yeah, if you ever want to contact us, we're open on Instagram DMs, and Gmail. What else?
So I had one kind of like, yeah, so the branding, let's talk about like the brand or like the
Yes.
vibe of the podcast as a whole. So pretty much, um, we are going to be doing a podcast about anything and everything. That's kind of like the theme of this podcast. You're going to get one thing. You're going to get an introduction of us like this week. Next week, you're going to have us talking about our favorite singers or something like that. Like, or even like in a controversial debates episode or something like that. Just speaking our mind. It's going to be raw. It's going to be real. Because that's the whole brand of it. It's random because we're random people. We can just go from any subject to the next, you know?
I think we will be uploading every other Monday on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, so stay tuned. So far, we're just planning on doing this for a few more months, but depending on how it goes, we might continue doing it. So stay tuned for what's coming next. It's going to be really cool. And yeah, so one final thing, we want to end off every podcast. So yeah, and thing we want to end off every podcast on is just an uplifting motivational quote. So Emmy has one she'd like to share.
Yes. My quote is, I believe I could be messing a little bit of this up, so I'm sorry if I'm messing it up a little bit. But it is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So
And I mean, it's true. The quote is very true. I will say that.
yeah, it even relates to how we became friends and how we
Exactly.
maintained our friendship. Like I could have said, no, this girl cut me. I'm not giving her a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, and look where we are
Exactly.
today. Yeah, so, and that's true with this podcast too.
Exactly. And I mean, like, even if this doesn't get any views or anything, I mean, it's fun to do, I think.
It is fun to do. Just expressing ourselves. And another quote, is one that, so Emmy gave me, I don't remember when you gave this to me, like a year or two ago. It is the cutest thing. I love it.
8th grade graduation.
8th grade graduation. There you have it. It is like one of my favorite gifts I've ever been given. It's like a picture. It's like a board with a ton of pictures of us on it with all our memories, and we have a lot. Let me say, we have a lot.
Yes.
And it goes beyond that board.
Maybe we can insert a picture.
Yeah, the picture of the first day of school is even on the board. But yeah, so on the board she put a few funny quotes and stuff. And one of the quotes I loved kind of showed her humorous personality. and it was, we're going to be friends forever because you already know too much. And that applies to us, you know. We're going to be friends forever because we know basically anything and everything about each other.
Yeah.
That was just a funny quote to end off with, and Emmy's motivational quote. Like Emmy said earlier, hopefully we can do this in person one time. But yeah, with COVID, just stay safe, everyone. Wear your masks.
Yes.
And
preach.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, hopefully, maybe like me and Lizzie for our next episode, our second episode, we'll have like an introduction, like a music introduction thingy, and like an outro, maybe, if we could figure that out. But
Yeah.
so, as of now, it's kind of just lame, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out. Second episode.
Bye.